Why is the oil price not moving that much after the OPEC decisions?
Well, that's a very good question, and there's no really clear answer to that question. You saw that OPEC decided to go from June onwards, June, July onwards, to cut production on a daily basis with 1 million barrels, which is quite substantial. The market did not take that in consideration, especially also not because, of course, we know what's happening in the world with the Ukraine war. And what they actually did is they gave a very clear signal here stating, okay, this is the bottom of the oil price. We're not going to go any further. To keep this price levels, we will at least cut the production. And they even announced that they will, and mainly Saudi Arabia announced that they will further voluntary output cuts. I'm reading it from my paper here, from July onwards. What is the consequence of this? That probably the oil price by the end of this year, and this is just based on analyst reports, I'm not giving my analysis on the oil price, but they say that there will be again a 3-digit figure for the oil price. Now the question is then, what is then the effect of this on oil itself? Well, it didn't do as much. The oil price went up slightly, but not as much. You saw on Monday the oil producing companies, which we touched down on, Casper and myself, about 4 months ago. They were slightly positive, but also not extreme. So you're going to give us a little bit of an update on where they are exactly. So yeah, and what also was very clear, the conclusion out of these discussions was that, of course, Russia and Saudi Arabia, there were some discussions going on that they were joining forces. You remember that they were talking about the new BRICS, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. But actually what Saudi Arabia is doing here is they're supporting Europe. Of course, we were lacking oil due to the fact that we put all the boycotts on Russia. But Saudi Arabia is actually fully supporting and against higher prices. Russia is selling really low cost oil at really discount prices to India, to China. And the question is, how long will they be able to do this? And I don't have the answer on that, but it is something that you need to take in consideration. So because even though there are massive amounts of Russian oil coming to the market, it's not being sold at the same price as Saudi Arabian or African oil is being sold. The winner out of the weekend, it was clearly stated that it's going to be UAE, that is the United Arab Emirates, and they are the winners because despite the fact that they're going to produce less, they have obtained a little bit a higher output cut, so they can produce slightly more. Oil companies, Taco, which ones are the main players?
The main players, I think in the previous edition with Casper the other day, 4 months ago, you also had a very good deep dive of the whole sector. It's very interesting to check that video as well. And also you gave some ideas about it. Well, Exxon, Chevron and Shell this time, the 3 out of the 5, I think the last time we had a new look, because if you think the oil price at least will go to the 3 digits again, well, I think those companies normally should also increase in value. For example, the price earnings of Exxon, it's 7.35 at this moment, Chevron 8.6 and Shell 4.7. So I think actually this is maybe the conclusion. Shell is still a very good performing stock based on this analysis. The dividend yield, I think they are all 3 still very interesting. I mean, Exxon 3.3%, Chevron 3.6% and Shell 3.7%, so that's almost similar. And maybe a new vision also, the ESG score, that could be, I'm not sure if we discussed it a lot of times in our market reporters, but even if it would be only for the market to analyze those companies, it can be very important. And definitely. Shell has a score of 9 compared with Chevron 7 and Exxon 8. So yeah, I don't want to really draw the conclusion already, but Shell is still very performing positively in this analysis. If you don't want to choose, of course, you can buy more stocks and maybe not even individual stocks, but a complete basket of ETF. We were discussing before that it could be difficult to find a real worldwide ETF.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult,
Pretty difficult, so normally you are or in Europe or in the US, but there are enough baskets. We gave them, I think the other day also, for example, to invest in European oil companies.
Exactly. So yes, if you think this is interesting and you want to take benefit from the fact that the majority of the analysts in the market think that oil prices will go up, have a look at those three companies, have a look at the Lixor Europe 600 oil and gas usage ETF, just for information. And if you want to invest directly in oil as a commodity, you could also consider the Wisdom Tree Brent crude or the Wisdom Tree WTI crude oil ETFs. Those two ETFs, they follow the oil price itself. To invest in other instruments is a little bit difficult, as we also highlighted last time. But all in all, oil, extremely interesting. What is happening? You see Russia is pushing into Asia, but they do that against massive discounts. That will not affect the prices much. OPEC is still ruling this market, and they will do probably for quite some time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.
I have to say it, as Casper says, give us your time.